There's a door in the woods that only appears at night. When I was a kid, my grandfather told me never to walk through the woods behind his house after dark. Not because of bears. Not because of coyotes. Because of the door. I thought it was just another old mountain story, meant to scare kids. Then I found it myself. My grandfather lived deep in rural West Virginia, near a stretch of forest so dense sunlight barely touched the ground. No nearby towns. No cell service. Just endless woods climbing over hills for miles. Every summer I stayed with him, and every summer he repeated the same warning. If you see a door standing by itself in the trees, he'd pause for a second. Don't go near it. Naturally, I became obsessed with finding it. But no matter how far I wandered during the day, I never saw anything unusual. Then one night when I was 16, I ignored his warning. I snuck out around midnight with a flashlight and followed an old deer trail behind the property. The woods felt different at night. Too quiet. No insects. No wind. Just my footsteps crunching through dead leaves. After about 20 minutes of walking, I noticed a light ahead between the trees. Warm yellow light. At first, I thought maybe another cabin sat deeper in the woods. Then I reached the clearing and saw the door, just standing there alone. No walls, no structure, only a plain white wooden door standing upright in the middle of the forest. Light spilled faintly from beneath it. I remember staring at it for a long time, trying to convince myself it was some kind of prank. But there were no supports holding it upright, no hinges connected to anything, just the door, waiting. The closer I got, the colder the air became. Then I noticed something scratched into the wood. Tallies. Hundreds of them. Maybe thousands. As if someone had been counting days. Or people. My flashlight flickered once. And from the other side of the door, I heard knocking. 3 slow knocks. I nearly ran immediately. But then I heard a voice. My mother's voice. Evan? I froze. My mother had died when I was 9. The voice came again, softer this time. Honey, open the door. My chest tightened so hard it hurt. Every rational thought disappeared. I stepped closer. Then another voice spoke behind the door. My grandfather. Don't listen to it. The voices overlapped suddenly. My mother crying. My grandfather shouting. More voices whispering underneath them. Dozens. Maybe hundreds. All begging at once. The doorknob slowly began turning on its own. That finally snapped me out of it. I backed away fast. The door creaked open slightly. And something moved in the gap. An eye. Far too large to belong to a human face. Watching me through the crack. Then the thing behind the door smiled. I know that sounds impossible. But somehow I could tell it was smiling even though I only saw the eye. The voices stopped instantly. Silence filled the clearing. Then the thing whispered in my mother's voice. You left me here. The door suddenly swung open. Not into another forest. Not into darkness. Into a hallway. A massive hallway stretching impossibly far beneath dim yellow lights. And lining both sides of the hallway were doors. Thousands of them. All different. Some old wood. Some metal. Some covered in scratches. And standing far down the hallway were people. Motionless figures staring toward me. My flashlight died completely. The thing inside the doorway whispered, "Come inside." Then one of the figures in the hallway started running toward the door. Fast. Way too fast. Its limbs bent wrong as it sprinted closer. And, even in the dim light, I could see its face. It looked exactly like my mother. Except the smile stretched far too wide. I turned and ran into the woods. Behind me, I heard footsteps crashing through leaves. Not human footsteps. Longer. Uneven. Something screaming my name in my mother's voice. I didn't stop running until I saw my grandfather's porch light. When I burst into the house shaking and crying, my grandfather already knew what happened. He just looked at me quietly and asked, "Did it open the door?" I nodded. His face went pale. Then he locked every window and door in the house before sunrise. That night he finally told me the truth. Apparently people in those mountains had been seeing the door for generations. Always after dark. Always alone. Some people heard dead relatives behind it. Some heard children crying. Some heard nothing at all. But according to my grandfather, the door wasn't trying to lure people inside. It was trying to replace them. He told me everyone who entered eventually came back. At first, they seemed normal. Then little things changed. They stopped blinking as often. They smiled at strange moments. And eventually, they started trying to lead other people into the woods. A week later, my grandfather disappeared. Police assumed he wandered off during a storm and got lost. But before he vanished, he left one note on the kitchen table. 3 words written shakily across the paper. "IT found me." That was 11 years ago. Last night, I woke up around 2 a.m. to knocking outside my apartment door. 3 slow knocks. I checked the peephole. At first, nobody was there. Then I looked down. My grandfather was standing directly below the peephole, smiling up at me. Mud covered his clothes. His skin looked pale gray. And behind him, stretching down my apartment hallway, was that same yellow-lit corridor full of doors.